Jonathan, you mentioned the path forward. And of course, today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel, his 8th trip. He's pushing for a ceasefire deal. The UN Security Council approved that deal on Monday. What is your outlook for this conflict? Will we see an end anytime soon?
Look, right now what we're hearing is the U.S. may be pursuing a side deal with Hamas, which on the one hand could release 5 hostages. On the other hand, could be a real boost to the credibility or the street cred of Hamas in the Middle East. And I think that is highly problematic. And even I think the rumors of this could be potentially very damaging, because what we're looking at right now, and there are some quotes today in the Wall Street Journal from Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who essentially came out and said that he views the deaths of civilians, the bloodshed of Palestinians, as something positive for the war effort. That every time another Palestinian is killed, that what this does is it actually boosts his cause, whether it's here in the United States and people protesting for or on behalf of Hamas, or in the region itself. And that's what really concerns me right now is we have a Hamas leadership that does not seem willing to bend. And the Israelis do not want to stop fighting until they get all the hostages back, and there's around 120 of them right now, but they also want Hamas to have lost its ability to fight moving forward. And I think that's where you're going to see that rub. You're going to see the friction there. Hamas believes that it's winning this war because of the terrible PR that Israel is incurring and the pressure that is being placed on Israel by actors across the international system. And so if they think they're winning, and the Israelis know that they have the military capability to end this war, and the only thing stopping Israel from doing that is the international community, you can get a sense we're kind of at a 3 or 4-way stalemate here. And so I think that the odds of that ending anytime soon are low. But then there's the other part of it. And I did already mention that there's 5 or 6 or 7 different fronts that have already been opened. The Iranian regime has deployed all of its proxies. So these are proxies that are in Gaza, of course, that's like Hamas, and also those same proxies, Hamas and Islamic Jihad, they're in the West Bank. You have Hezbollah in Lebanon. You've got Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria. You've got the Houthis in Yemen, and you've got Iran itself, which recently fired hundreds of rockets and drones at Israel. Even if this war were somehow brokered to a successful close by the UN or by the US, we have to remember here that there are still 5 or 6 other fronts that are still open and that are still hot, and the Israelis are going to need to figure out how to deal with them as well. So to me, as a longtime Middle East watcher, I don't believe that this thing can be wrapped up in a few weeks. I think there are going to be a lot of loose ends for quite some time. The big one is on the northern border of Israel with Hezbollah. That's a very powerful proxy of Iran, a massive military, a massive arsenal of rockets. They've cleared out 100,000 Israeli citizens from their homes along the northern border. They've burned hundreds, if not thousands, of acres of arable land. The Israelis are deeply concerned about that situation right now, and that's going to really, I think, prolong any end to this conflict. This is, at least 2 very hot fronts right now, with a bunch of others that could go hot at any moment.